Afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, October 2, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a time for change call tonight, a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. We're going to address the month of October. We're also going to discuss legitimacy of currency and bonds. Whenever life gives us a great challenge, such as how to master our mind, the best way you can meet this divine opportunity is to just feel calm, relaxed, and at ease inside. Know that practicing this in itself will master the mind. The day you can remain truly relaxed, all the way to your core, all day long, then you'll know you have arrived. Magical core of your innermost being is found through this infinite dive deeper and deeper and deeper inside you. It is the most sacred and awesome thing you can explore with your life in this universe. Now, when we look at these bodies and the brain and the heart and the blood and the bones and the muscles and all the rest, many of us have a very difficult time wrapping our minds around the fact that it's not us. It's a separate form of energy, kinda. So when you're not in the body, how are you really? How a lot of people are curious about this. So when you're not in the body, what happens with the brain and all that information, and where does that go? It goes with the pure consciousness that you are. Obviously, you look at a body that doesn't operate anymore. It's blanked. There's nothing. It's gone. You can, in situations, review thought processes in the cerebral cortex, but it doesn't last because the brain will cease in functioning. Electrical impulses and pathways will just shut down. So we carry the actual, all the thoughts, all the experiences and everything with us as pure consciousness in the God's way. This is why you'll be able to, once you're ready, to access all of your past lives. And this is where you're accessing it. You're this huge, grand library, data center, whatever you want to call it, data bank. But it's you. It's within you, the God, the pure consciousness that you are. A lot of people believe that it's like what? Building you walk into and you see all these vaulted walls with all these books and everything and data. But it's not. It is you, the pure consciousness. That's how you access it. So when we come into these bodies and we have this amnesia, which we do, and we look at these bodies as, for us, it's kind of like the first time we've ever been in a physical material form because we don't have any reference. We you know, what are you going to do? You can't plug into nothingness. Why is that, though? Why is it really that way? Where, you know, the majority of us just can't. We don't know how to access our data center. We don't. Many of us will say, boy, I wish I could just, you know, go back, you know, maybe a couple of lifetimes so I could see certain things, see what I did, and then maybe that would help me with this life. See, it's a step process. First, we go within, and we practice staying within and getting to know the gods and the pure consciousness that we are, forgiving ourselves across the board for anything that we carry with us in guilt, worry, stress, fear throughout this lifetime and others. Then we learn, as we do this, we learn through meditation to stay in the now. And I'm not saying 24/7, but we get to the point where we're beginning to master the ego mind. And we know what thoughts are. And we know when we generate thoughts, how that process comes to be. And when we just receive, right, we receive thoughts that aren't ours. And this is part of mastering our thoughts. You master the ego mind, you master your thoughts. This is all the step-by-step process. There's no cutting corners. Once we get to a self-realization and awareness, then the mind chatter disappears. And the ego mind starts to form into peace. It's different, much different when we reside in the heart mind. Because when you're not carrying the ego anymore, your whole perspective is totally different. Remember, you're not worrying anymore, you're not stressing anymore, you're not fearing anymore. It's gone. Only in the now does that transpire. And in the now, of course, see, you're not wanting. Having, getting. None of that's there anymore. You know that you draw, as you're part of the collective consciousness, the pure consciousness. You can plug into that knowledge base anytime you choose, and you could be anywhere you choose to be, whenever. And you plug into that database. It's all there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever, the knowledge and everything. You're talking about all the ascended masters, everybody. Throughout the ages, not just on this planet, but everywhere. You can plug into that knowingly through the heart mind, through meditation. You'll find that beyond metta and this civilization, you'll find that just about all of us will meditate on a daily basis. Okay? While we're in these physical forms. And what that does is it centers our energies and focus. And we stay in bliss and joy and peace and tranquility and happiness. We don't have all that other stuff anymore. Yeah, we've all had a lot of it for many lifetimes. But it's kind of like a reckoning, you know. We decide as a collective consciousness, we're not going to do this anymore. We're going to do this over here. This is very different. See, our spiritual is very different than the material physical. You're still in material physical, of course. But your perspective totally shifts into spiritual. What does that mean? It means that you go within and stay within That's where your home is at. And you continually are interacting with the pure consciousness or the God within the body. You're constantly doing this. And you become, your frequency becomes higher and higher and higher. You're no longer in caustic energy. You're no longer wanting and having anymore, because you know that you can manifest anything you choose. Big difference. We've been taught on this planet to what? To want and have. Right? We've also been taught that we have to grab onto it. See, we've got to grab onto it. Don't let go of it, or you'll lose it. And so you let go of it. But you don't, you're not losing anything. And this is where the ego mind confuses us. You let go and surrender something. You surrender every day, all the time, 24/7. You're always surrendering. When things strike and the ego mind comes in and you got all this stuff that you feel like you're being dumped on, and you say, you know what? Universe, it's yours. I give it to you. You don't do it ego mind, you do it heart mindedness. And it goes. Anything that you know, kind of like these little thoughts that shoot off, and you go, and you immediately identify those thoughts, and you go, those aren't my thoughts, they're someone else's thoughts. So I'm just going to let them pass through me. It's a big difference. A lot of us will, let's say clouds in the sky are thoughts, right? They're floating by. And we grab them. We grab them, pull them in, because we think they're ours. We grab them, pull them in, we give them energy, we move them into our reality, and we experience them. That's what happens. Every now and then, we say to ourselves, something doesn't feel right here. Now, this thought, remember, was not your thought. You give thoughts out. That's how you know the difference. When you're in meditation, you send a thought out there, that's your thought from scratch. You created that thought. But when thoughts come in and they really look good because they almost match you, so this is how we get so tricked all the time into living, creating these thoughts into our reality and experiencing them. You imagine the billions throughout the ages and all the different civilizations that have existed on this planet. Where did their thoughts go? No one ever thinks about that. They're here. Billions and billions of them. That's why each of us, over 60,000 plus thoughts every day. And that's what we call the noise, the mind chatter, the noise. Some of us will escape the noise. How do we do that? Meditation. That's how you escape the noise. You go out, you find a place that's secluded, nothing fancy. And because it'll be distracting if it's too fancy. And then you just go out, sit by a meadow or a lake or trees or whatever, and you meditate. Just like we do on these calls. And you get yourself in a really comfortable position. Make sure there's no outside distraction. And you relax into your body. And remember, you're still as a statue. You're still in a comfortable position, but you're still as a statue. And all you do is you focus on your breath rising and falling. Space between heartbeats. That's the now. And what it does is it directs us to start practicing to stay there. And this is the only place that we can master our ego mind. There isn't any other way. Believe you me, many ways have been tried. but didn't make it. So the meditation process is manifold. It literally trains us into being in the now. And it assists us with looking at the mind and the ego from outside rather than inside. So we can watch, learn, and see how the ego mind operates. And then eventually, by doing that, you'll get thoughts that'll come in. You go, these aren't my thoughts. I'm just going to let them pass through me. Okay, big difference. What happens to them? They disappear. Almost instantaneously. But many of us will have these thoughts come in. We'll embrace them. We'll give them energy. Move them into our reality and experience them. That's why there's so much confusion on this planet in this very now moment. We've spent all of our time doing what we can to master the physical material world, all along not knowing that that's the ego mind. How many of us really, truly believe within ourselves that everything we see, we created? Now, do you believe that your ego mind the mind can wrap itself around that? No, cannot. But heart mind, yeah, kind of. Because pure consciousness, right? You look at things, and you want, right, or desire certain things to be a certain way. It could be just, a whole little thoughts that you generate, just little things that kind of flutter out there. Now, one might say, well, how? Well, then wouldn't every one of us create the same things? No, they're always different. Why? So we can experience them. Fred over here created everything around him because this is what Fred wanted. That doesn't mean that Fred knew this. This is why it's difficult for us to embrace it, because we're artificially disconnected from it. We've been trained and programmed for generations to see all that stuff out there. We had nothing to do with it at all. We had nothing to do with the buildings and the trees and the flowers. We had nothing to do with any of it. What do you think? What do you believe Mother Nature is? We talk about Mother Nature on this planet. It's part of the collective consciousness. It's actually, some of it, the root of it is feminine energy, and then some masculine energy. Why would we create that on each planet? To create a form of balance. You can't. We're gonna manifest this species over here, but no food for this species. Then it'd die off. It'd be extinct. So you create everything in infinite order, so that the system on the planet, so is the system one of the pure consciousness, one of the gods, that's experiencing it as it creates it? Interesting question. Does a planet house a soul, a God, pure consciousness? Yes. Why? So that it can experience it. What about a black hole? Does a God or pure consciousness create that to experience it? Yes. What about the white hole? Yes. What about suns and pulsars and novas and all this stuff? Gaseous anomalies? Yes. Now, it's not from the perspective of you and I sitting down and having an eye-to-eye conversation. Not that type. But everything is pure consciousness. And we, as part of pure consciousness, continually create. It never ends. Well, one might say, well, this guy ends sooner or later. No, it never ends. We've been doing this for trillions upon trillions of years. We go by years on this planet because 1 year is 365 days, which it takes us to circle the sun. Right? Other planets take thousands of years to make one orbit around the sun. So when we say years, we say, of course, what we're aware of on this planet. Now, when you, and it's fun to review this through the heart mind, not the ego mind. Because then you start to comprehend that, well, this is truly me, or it's what I am. I am part of the pure collective consciousness of all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. Which therefore means I can plug into it, I can know all the knowledge that ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. See what I mean? The danger is, some of us are tricked and fooled by the ego mind to believe we're in the heart mind. We're not. This is why you hear a lot. This is a massive shift. Ascension, spiritual awakening, becoming aware as part of the process. Now, at the core of you is the spiritual source of existence. It is what gives you life, breathes life through you, and is the reason for all enjoyment, pleasure, and freedom from suffering. It is what you really are when the continuous mind chatter gets quiet. And when you truly explore the source from where every little thought arises, you simply experience a unique yet eternal expression of yourself. We'll call your beingness. And the result is absolute freedom and the realization that you always had the option to be free from suffering. And will have that option forevermore. One might say, so what happens when you arrive at the core of your being? What's that about? You authentically feel in touch with everything in life. That's what happens. There's this 100% honest relationship that naturally happens with others, and you cannot lie to anyone or anything. You are with yourself in a way that you can only speak your greatest possible truth. If you would lie about something, right, you'd instantly feel a great disconnect and subtle pain with your core. A small fib makes you feel 1,000,000 miles away from home and living on some imaginary cloud made of unstable thoughts. It is only when we speak our truth, dive into feeling the truth of who we are, and live from this radical honesty, that the magical core is naturally revealed. Now, one might say, why do we then, why do we lie? Why is that? Why do we lie? Because we're immersed in ego, mind, and material physical world. And this is how we're programmed while we're in these bodies. It's how the body's programmed. Okay? So everybody does it. This is because artificially we're disconnected from our core. Receptivity is your personal effort. You must choose not to try to do anything else. For in fact, you can't do anything else. If we are standing in darkness and do our part by opening the door, the light rushes in to meet us, Vernon Howard. All of us are living in a world filled with energy and information that is extremely impermanent and constantly changing. And yes, your body, your house, your kids won't look the same in 10 years, not to mention the next 40 years, unless you establish a deep connection with the spiritual source of infinite energy inside. Once you do, your body will exist in a state of absolute health and vitality forever. Forever, forever. Now, our great ancestors did this, and they lived to be over 900 years old. You don't believe me? Check it out. 900, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 years. The unlimited potential energy is always inside us at the core and is ready for you to reveal yourself to it right now. Massive positive change begins with one simple choice. The decisions to relax deeply into the experience you're having right now. Once you consciously and continuously choose this, you can release your rushing habit and lifestyle that believes there's somewhere better than here now. And only then can you access the ability to give yourself permission to relax. When you have no concept of time and are truly honoring the timeless, eternal being that you are, you can actually relax into the core of your innermost being. Notice how you push and pull against time in your life. How do you force life to be something other than what you are? How are your relationships with people, situations, money, job, and yourself? Is it stressful? How often do you go with the flow or struggle to move upstream? Just notice what your relationship is like with time, and what type of relationship with time that you can have that will truly satisfy you. Now, if you're used to thinking, how can I get more of X, Y, Z and get away from A, B, C? Then you'll never find that golden palace with its diamond floors and walls. Even when your desires get manifested, the ego is pleased just momentarily. What does it feel like to release the idea that your desires need to be achieved at a certain time? And move into the present moment of feeling, what is my experience of life in this now moment? When we are simply here now, the blissful peace and magical stillness arises within our very being. And when the mind is silent, not asking but receiving life, the Shakti energy has nowhere else to go but into you, because you are now here in stillness. Join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in from the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into the body, focused on the breath rising and falling. Everyone benefits when you stop any form of hiding. Life is much easier when you're not always trying to play small or not be seen. Perhaps you're trying to micromanage your public image and control who people think you are. Think about how you feel when you are hiding. You're really just hiding from realizing your most radical freedom inside. When you're hiding, people can only relate to you in a superficial way. Do you want to be superficial? Be the radical, wild, free person who you really are. Let go of who you believed you were and allow your heart to become even more honest, authentic, and totally clear about your micro-truths. Let those who care about you really know what's going on for you deep on the inside. Your inner light will only get brighter when all these old masks are removed. There is no need to push, judge, or criticize yourself anymore. At the core, you are so pure, so wonderful, and oh so perfect. Give yourself a sweet inner hug right now. Forgive yourself for whatever you did wrong yesterday. Reclaim your innocence. You can simply choose to see your divinely pure, innocent nature. Take this with you for the rest of the day and to the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here tonight, Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024, a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our Time for Change call, and Thursday, October 3, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. And Friday we will have our reverse aging health call and all the rest. Be kind, gentle, humble, and generous with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's happening within you or outside of you. Open your heart and let the magic flow in.